So, Sheree, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much for your leadership. Now, Georgia Ford is also a member of the NABJ Minnesota board. She is your vice president. Can you talk a little bit about Georgia Ford as a journalist? She is somebody that has come into national focus, but somebody that you have known and that the people of Minnesota have known for her journalism for quite some time.
Yes, thank you. I'll say Georgia is a powerhouse. That's just one way to sum her up. She is a multi-Emmy award-winning journalist. I'm sorry, can you hear me okay? Okay, yeah, you can hear me. Okay, so thank you. And so she started the Center for Broadcast Journalism, a nonprofit. She started Power 104.7, a radio station. She started Black Press as an independent journalist. She spent time, working as a broadcast journalist at major outlets before coming back and becoming an independent journalist. And she really gets to know the community. And they, tip her off, on stories. She's there. She's living among the people and covering the stories.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to hear you talk about just from the perspective of NABJ Minnesota, how these arrests really are affecting Black journalists locally, professionally and personally. People who know Georgia, people who saw that Don was also arrested and in federal custody. What message is that sending locally?
Yes, and I'll say, I'm going to expand it, right? Not just our Black journalists, but there are so many journalists of color who are covering this story. Some of them who have immigrant families. Some of our journalists are also, outside of being from the Hmong community and the Latino community, Hispanic community, but also we do have Somali American journalists here as well, who are members of our NABJ Minnesota site. And so it affects all of us very personally. So especially those who are seeing their neighbors, seeing their friends, seeing the parents of the schoolmates of their children being arrested and detained, but also just some of them being pepper sprayed. One of them was shot, in the foot. So this is very personal for everyone involved. But yet at the same time, you're there to do a job. These journalists are there to cover the story while also, we have our own emotions to keep in check while doing this. So how can you still show up and do your job and get at home? You have to decompress. And at the same time, you still have a family to take care of. So it's a lot. As everyone on this call knows when covering such stories.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm listening to you and I'm hearing that these journalists, so often they're covering a story that they're also living through and trying to process that. Makes me think about, kind of what kind of support these journalists on the ground need. What does that look like? What are they asking you for? How can they be supported?
Yes, some of the things that are being asked for are protective gear. Whether it's going to be goggles and gas masks, other items that that are needed. If they're out there, if they're going to get pepper sprayed, somebody was even talking about whether or not they should get a bulletproof vest, or something like that were to happen after what we have seen happen with Renee Good and with Alex Preddy. So the concerns are very real. At the other end of it, we're also just seeing calls for food. They're out there on the lines, and other chapters have been sending in pizzas, sending them door dashes, and so forth. So just being able to remember, your fellow journalists in that regard. So I think that's very kind of everyone who sends in just food, thinking of the journalists.
Yeah.
Sheree, let me ask you a question, Sheree. Give everybody watching a sense of what is happening on the ground. When ICE and these federal law enforcement officials went into Chicago, there were bullets that were fired at journalists. Other journalists talked about how they're being pushed around, how they're being treated. And so, give us a sense of what is life like there for journalists on the ground trying to do their jobs. How are they being treated by federal law enforcement?
We're seeing a mix of reactions. They're also being shoved back, as you see with some of the residents and citizens. Stay away. Keep your distance. And at the same time, you're seeing a little bit of friendly banter with a few of them, and some jokes being exchanged. So it is definitely a mix. But at the same time, I know that the fear is also real when people are out there covering the stories as well as yeah.
I asked this question on Friday, and I still haven't seen it. Has there been a GoFundMe or a legal defense fund or something along those lines set up for Georgia Fort? Because listen, this is gonna be. We don't know how long this legal battle is going to take, and it's going to take resources. Do you know anything like that has been established?
Their funds are being accepted through her website, georgiafort.com. There's a support button there. So I believe it's georgiafort.com/support. There's also a young man named Jerome. I'm blanking right now. Robertson.
Yeah. His video circulated a little bit earlier. And folks in our control room, let me know when y'all have that video so we can play it. He's a young journalist who assisted Don, and he put out an Instagram video saying that he's now being targeted by the Department of Justice.
Right, he was arrested this morning. Bondi put it on her X page. He has a GoFundMe up as well, so we can search his name. We're going to put that on our NABJ-MN.org site also later today. So he is someone, as a younger journalist, who really needs some of that help also with legal assistance, but so does Georgia. And so many, I'm gonna say also some of these other journalists. We have so many independent journalists working on the ground here in Minneapolis, and we want to be able to kind of provide support for them in other ways as well. So we take a few donations through our NABJMN.org site as well to help some of the ones who aren't known, but definitely Jerome, Georgia, who are arrested and charged will have much larger legal funds.
And Errin, the young man's name is Jerome Richardson. So we're going to pull that video up in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the legal resources certainly seem like a thing that needs to happen. Sheree, I also wonder, I mean, are you hearing from members who, so many people that I've heard from across the country, even outside of Minneapolis, are seeing this and they're saying, what happens next? What about me? Could I be someone that could be targeted in this way? These arrests, are you worried that this could have a chilling effect to the folks who are on the ground trying to tell the truth and report from these communities about what is actually happening?
We do feel that is part of the intention, right? With the arrest of the independent journalists from Georgia Fort, Don Lemon, and others, as well as some of the activists who were, is to instill that fear. So yes, there is definitely that fear. There are, I won't name names, I won't name organizations, but there are other independent journalists out there who are doing this work. And I think that potential of that target of independent journalists who do not have the same resources behind them as those who work for media outlets, that's an added fear. Some of them may not have insurance that's going to protect their homes, protect their cars if they were to get into some kind of a legal battle. So yeah, it's very real.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that what I'm telling journalists is probably the same thing that you are, that journalism is not a crime and that the First Amendment is not optional. Roland, I'm going to come back to you.
Sheree, we appreciate you joining us on this critically important discussion. Thank you so very much. And certainly do our best to the folks and NABJ members who are in Minneapolis. Errin, the point that she just made there really is critical that I don't think people really don't understand. As somebody who created my own media company and launched my show September 4th, 2018, a lot of people don't think about the legal aspect, don't think about when you get when all of a sudden someone files a lawsuit. They don't think about insurance. Listen, when you work for one of these major media companies, they have significant law firms, they have internal lawyers, they have external law firms, they have insurance for when they get sued. A lot of independent journalists, small journalists, Black-owned media, they don't have that. And so when you ask the question about it being a chilling effect, that is real because what this is going to do, this is going to give a lot of independent journalists pause when it comes to covering future protests. Hey, I might be targeted. And so folks don't think about it in those terms. And when we talk about legal, we're talking about, you know, 25, 50, 75, $100,000 or more to spend money on a legal fight. And listen, that's just not something that's in the budget for a lot of media, independent small media companies.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And as we are seeing media consolidation, we know that independent journalism is only growing, right? The number of freelancers that we are seeing, even in our membership, but across the country, and folks that are starting, independent media companies with that proliferating across the country. This is something that is going to have to become more of a concern in the climate that we unfortunately are now finding ourselves in.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Let's go ahead and bring in our next